Okay, well I guess we'll go ahead and get started then, not everybody's set. Well, I thought we'd take an opportunity to learn about something other than what the difference between side control and a full mount is. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over Windows 7 today, okay? As most of you realize, Windows 7 came out Thursday. It's been out. David's been making calls on it already in his Geek Squad stuff. So we've obviously seen a lot of Windows 7 commercials. The Apple commercials, if you guys were watching TV Thursday night, if you watched The Office, they were showing them non-stop. Almost every other commercial, you could get one of those. And so, you know, Apple, I think, is running scared. And they have a reason to be. Because Windows 7 is actually a good operating system. And it's probably the best operating system Microsoft's ever made. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, that's my opinion. But we'll go over some stuff, and we'll see if we can make your opinion for you tonight as well. Okay, well, let's go over what's new in Windows 7. Okay, most of you probably already know this list, but for those of you who don't, let's go ahead and go over it. User interface changes have been made, okay, and the biggest one's probably the super bar, okay, which is the improved taskbar. And we'll take a look at that in our demo here in a sec, but it's really cool. It's a major improvement over what we had with previous Windows operating systems. If you think about it, the taskbar has not changed since Windows 95. It's basically the same thing. Now, they've added some features and stuff, but it's still the same thing that we had in Windows 95, okay? Windows 7 changes it. We're different now. Okay? We've made some improvements to the arrow interface from Vista, okay? Such as the snap, the shake, and the size. And when we were watching the 7-second videos just a second ago, you guys saw some of those different changes. And it's really cool improvements to the user interface. And again, we'll take a look at that here in a second when we do our demo. We have jump list, home groups, and Windows Search has been improved. Of course, we had Windows Search in Vista, but it's much improved in Windows 7. It searches much more stuff. Jump list is part of the new super bar. We'll take a look at those. Home group is a new way of networking. It's good and it's bad, David will tell you. But for the most part, it is an improvement over what we had with previous networking efforts by Microsoft. So we'll just leave it at that. How about that? And of course, every version of Windows 7 is now touch and tablet compatible. In the past, a lot of times, like with Windows XP, you had to buy a separate tablet PC edition if you were going to run it on a tablet. Okay, Vista fixed that a little bit, but not enough. Okay, but with Windows 7, we have the full touch and tablet interface. In fact, it will actually detect what you have, what kind of hardware you have on your system for either a touch or a tablet. It's very cool. Performance. We have some performance tweaks. The first one is improved power management. And, you know, we can say improved power management. You know, what does it really mean? It does use less power. There was supposedly one city that converted all their desktops to Windows 7, and they got their bill reduced by like $1 million or something like that. Have you guys seen that news story? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been all over like the Slashdot and some of the other ones. I forget what the name of the city is. But I mean, it is actually more power management, better power management than what we had before. Faster sleep and resume. Okay, I hate sleep. I've hated it since they introduced it. I think it's the worst thing ever. Oh. Yeah, worst thing ever. But in Windows 7, it actually works. It took them how many versions of Windows to get it right? But here in Windows 7, it actually works. I'm not lying. We'll show you here in a sec. Better wireless networking. It has a lot of cool wireless networking features in it that weren't found in Vista and XP. And if you get on wireless networks, exactly. If you get on wireless networks a lot, if you're hopping from like coffee shop to coffee shop, great incentive to go to Windows 7. And of course, full 64-bit support. In the past, if you wanted a 64-bit operating system, you had to basically specify it up front before you bought it. Okay, and you were stuck with it, regardless of whether or not you liked it. Well, with Windows 7, every copy, including the Home Premium upgrade that I have here, includes a 32-bit and a 64-bit CD. And your key works with either of them. Okay, so if you buy a copy, you get both versions included, okay, which is very nice. And I would encourage y'all, if you can, to go 64-bit. It is faster on hardware that supports it, okay, and it is very compatible with 32-bit applications. We've done a lot of testing. I'll talk a little bit more about what's not compatible later on. Multimedia, Windows Media Center and Windows Media Player 12. We'll talk about those here in a second. I'm going to hold those off for a second. And in some miscellaneous categories, we have better user account control options. Windows Vista was terrible about prompting you for every little thing that you wanted to change. You know, if you wanted to copy something to your desktop, you had to put in your password. I mean, that makes no sense. You know, or you got 2 or 3 prompts. Well, Windows 7, that's much easier now. They've taken that down to a bare minimum. You still have the prompts every so often, but it's not nearly as annoying as it was in Windows Vista. So I highly recommend leaving it on. You know, your first initiative when you load Windows 7 might be, let's turn this off right now, because I don't want the million prompts that I usually get. Well, I guarantee you it won't be nearly as annoying as before, and I highly recommend you leave it on. Windows Disk Image Burner. Okay? For once, Windows has included an ISO file burning software. The Windows Disk Image Burner software. It's a very simple piece of software. You just double click on an ISO and it comes up. We'll show you that in the demo. And of course, improved built-in applications. Many of you are familiar with the 2007 version of Office that has the ribbon interface, is what we call it. The ribbon is now invading your WordPad and your Paint. Okay, so we'll take a look at those too. WordPad and Paint are now ribbon. Okay, so wild, I know. But let's take a minute to look at the multimedia features. Okay, I kind of skipped them. Let's come back to them. Windows Media Player 12, slimmed down, now playing mode. You guys saw when I was doing some of the stuff here, we were watching some fights and some of the commercials, that when it was playing, it's basically just a window that shows a video. You know, it's nothing more than that. When you slide the mouse over it, it gives you the play options that you want. And then there's a button that you hit, it looks like a little arrow with some windows around it, that actually gives you like which videos you want it to play. And it actually gives you, you know, all of the options and all that good stuff. But if you just run it, or if you just double click on a file, it just runs it. You know, isn't that the Mac thing? You know, it just works. Well, it just works. So, plays more media natively. Okay, how many people have installed a codec pack? Let's see some hands. Okay, trying to get whatever media you want it to play. Okay, Windows 7 has built-in native support for XVID, AAC, and MPEG-4. Just right out of the box. Okay, you don't need to install that codec pack anymore. When I first installed the beta, I installed the codec pack not knowing this, and it worked fine. But then I was like, well, I installed the RC. I'm like, let me just go ahead. I'll try to play it. And I played it, it worked. I'm like, forget these codec packs. I'll throw them out the window. Because it's been such a headache, especially for guys who do a lot with, you know, video editing and audio editing. So that's great. Taskbar thumbnail with playback controls. That's part of the new super bar interface that we were talking about. We'll talk about that here in a second. Play to device feature. I really wanted to demo this for you guys because it's the coolest thing ever. But how many people have a 360? You have a lot of people with probably Xbox 360s in the house, and you probably have a PC running Windows 7. Okay, have you ever clicked that Media Center icon on your Xbox by chance? Ever? You might be wondering, what in the heck is that? Media Center is, of course, a Windows media player, kind of with an interface for Windows, for Windows and for Xbox 360. Well, what you can do is if you load Windows Media Center and pair it up with your PC on your Xbox 360, you can then push media to that 360 from your PC. So I can click like play to, you know, here I have a little video file, let's play this to my Xbox in the living room, and it plays. And you push media just like that. And like I said, I really wanted to demo that for you. It's just a little hard to set up. If you guys come to the house, I'll show it to you because it's pretty cool. The Play to device feature is very cool. And you don't have, it's just not Xbox 360s. If you guys have a media extender, I know Rod here has a media extender, I have a media extender, you can do it on those as well. Linksys makes them, HP makes them, there's some other companies that make media extenders as well. So that's just another
supposedly coming to Zoom.
Yeah,
at some point.
So now let's talk about the Windows Media Center functionality in Windows 7. Easier media sharing via the home group. Okay, and that's, again, those networking features built into Windows 7 works very well. We saw the commercial with the guy who's saying, I can play to this device, I can play to that. Yeah, and it really does work.
That is one thing Homegroup did right.
Yeah, it's very good. So, Internet TV feature. Okay, Windows Media Center in the past, if you want to watch any kind of TV, you had to have a tuner. It was a requirement. Built into Windows Media Center is Internet TV. Internet TV includes CBS, MSNBC, and of course Netflix, if you guys have Netflix subscription. So now you can do that all
I'd be surprised
right there.
if they added features in connecting it to Hulu.
Right. And Zune is in there as well. So Zune video podcasting, I believe, is in there. So there's a whole bunch of different channels. We can look at those maybe at another time. But better slideshow features. If you guys do a lot with digital pictures like my wife, okay, she has like digital pictures all over the place, then you might want to see some slideshows from time to time. Has a lot better slideshow interface. Gives you a lot more options. If you don't deal with pictures, you won't. It won't be anything. Faster access times. This goes for not only the PC, but also for the extenders. It goes on both sides. Windows Media Center on Vista was very slow booting up on the Xbox 360 or my other extender that I have.
Or the PC itself.
Or the PC itself, correct. So all that's been changed. The faster access times are not just something that...
I can actually attest to that.
Yeah,
I was playing with a Windows 7 computer
that's right.
and Windows Media Center.
Media Center is much faster. And we'll take a look at Media Center here in a sec. But the faster access times are a lot.